Overview. What is it? A surprise car. Once Jaguar bet the farm on SUVs with its aluminium-heavy F-Pace and followed it up by revealing the smaller E-Pace crossover, the idea of a modern Jag estate car was all but dead in the water. Because folks who want a big premium badged car with lots of boot space also want the ride height and power trip offered by a high-up 4x4, right? Wrong, according to Jaguar. Lots of its faithful apparently found the F-Pace too wide and too tall for their dogs to leap into, so a wagon has been allowed back into the range. Except it's called nothing so utilitarian as that. The XF Sportbrake is supposed to ape the look of a shooting brake and be a diamond in the rough to drive. And largely, it is. Under the bodywork and from the front seats, the XF Sportbrake is like any other XF we've come across, so let's focus on the new bit, the cargo deck. The vital stats are these: 565 liters with all 5 seats in place and 1,700 liters when folded. That's broadly competitive with the new BMW 5 Series Touring, but predictably less commodious than the gargantuan Mercedes-Benz E-Class estate. Unlike the Mercedes, there's no option to add 2 extra jump seats, but the seat bases fold flat, they're sprung-loaded to drop the backrests quickly without complicated and heavy electrified mechanisms, and the boot side walls have been smoothed to stop wheel arch intrusions blocking bulky items. Add in the lashing points and removable dividers, and you're looking at a well-thought-out estate car boot. Well done, Jaguar. All XF Sportbrakes will be all-wheel drive, as Jaguar says this fits with the more active lifestyles of the folks who will buy one. Engine-wise, you've got the dull but worthy 4-cylinder turbos in a couple of states of tune, a supercharged petrol V6 that's never showed the XF in its best light, and the turbo diesel V6 which is undoubtedly our favorite XF. We've only tried the 238 bhp Ingenium 4-pot turbo diesel so far, but chances are the V6 will remain the peach of the range. You can festoon your XF with options like adaptive suspension, Jaguar's wearable activity key, driver-assisting cruise control and anti-crash tech, and the world's largest panoramic glass roof, which has a gesture-controlled blind, because that's something the world needs, apparently. This sector is no stranger to enormous options lists and big price premiums, and Jaguar's jumped in with both feet, or should that be all 4 paws? It's very easy to make your XF Sportbrake sail over £60k, or even £70k in the pursuit of draping that handsome form in all the tech you desire. Driving. What is it like on the road? Jaguar XF Sportbrake rear quarter. Straight on with the good news, then we can leap into practicality. The XF Sportbrake drives exactly like the saloon car, which is to say, really well. Best in class for ride handling balance, in fact, shrugging off undulations and smoothing out bumps, while still giving you just enough of a sense of what the wheels are dealing with to not feel aloof and numb. It steers accurately, the big body has its movements kept in check and it's agile. But the XF has never had a problem with going down a road far more astutely than an E-Class or Volvo S90. Where it does fall behind the competition is in the powertrain stakes. Jaguar's new Ingenium engines are all at work here, and though smoother than we've found them to be in the Z and broadly fit for purpose, the standard set by the new BMW 5 Series is so high now that the Jaguar equivalents still feel ever so slightly stressed, and the 8-speed automatic isn't as tuned into your brain and right foot as what BMW can do with the same hardware. We've yet to try other variants beyond the 2.0-liter, 238 bhp turbo diesel, but experience with other XFs tends towards the lower-powered 2.0 liters feeling strange, and the 3.0 V6 being an utter joy of an engine that'll really suit the XF Sportbrake. It's easily the pick in the saloon, and the F-Pace. The combination of that engine and the Sportbrake body style could yet create the definitive modern lifestyle Jag, though the Sportbrake is actually no longer than the XF Saloon, and actually shorter and lower than the previous model. It's something like 135 kilograms heavier, depending on spec. This doesn't really manifest itself in the way it handles or accelerates, so far as we can tell, but test economy of 39 miles per gallon from our 2.0-liter all-wheel drive test car suggests it doesn't make for an economical machine. On the move, there are perhaps a few decibels of extra road noise reverberating around the cabin thanks to the estate backside, but the XF is a respectably refined car. The standard in this class is very high though, and we dare say a 5 Series or E-Class estate, or even the stunning Volvo V90, suppresses tiring din just as well, if not better. On the inside, layout, finish and space, Jaguar XF Sportbrake front quarter, starting at the back, we've got an electric tailgate as standard, and a 565-liter boot with all the seats up. Actually, let's step back a little further for a second. XF Sportbrakes with dual exit exhausts, ER Sport models have very prominent tailpipes, and if your car's been running for a while and you step up to unload the boot, there's a very real chance of suffering painful burned shins. It's a quirk of the styling. We like prominent, non-fake pipes, but it seems an odd oversight that could be a real bugbear on a family wagon. Watch out for it. Assuming your shins haven't had two perfect rings branded into them, you'll lean through the 1061mm wide aperture, release the backseat clamps via robust plastic levers, and they'll spring forward and lie obediently flat. You can either drop the lock or in the 40-20-40 split. This opens up a 1,700-liter load bay with all manner of lashing hooks and, if you spec the 980-pound convenience pack, load bay dividers and netting. It's a useful, flat-sided space with a sensibly low sill. Jaguar says, without a hint of irony, the space has been tailored to fit 2 golf caddies and 2 bags. The makings of a good estate car, then. Fancy towing the boat, quad bikes, or heaven forbid, the caravan. An electrically deployable towbar is a chunky 990-pound option. In the back seats, the Sportbrake immediately wins out versus the saloon. The flatter roofline has opened up more headroom, and the XF's never struggled for legroom, so it's easily capable of seating adults over 6 feet behind similarly lanky front seaters. They get their own climate control pod for an extra 630 pounds, but we found it made an odd rattling noise on our early build test car. Up front, the XF is as per the saloon, which is to say minimalist, stylish and well-built, but lacking in flair and the uber-sensory materials now found in Volvo, BMW and Mercedes rivals. Though it's all laid out sensibly enough, the plastic banks of climate control buttons look and feel cheaper than they ought to, and the InControl Touch Pro screen, while leagues better than what Jaguar's been flogging for years up until now, lacks support for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right now, which dates the entertainment options. The mapping capability of the net is also a little juvenile, but the main menu graphics and responsiveness of the screen are at least beyond reproach. Jaguar also offers pounding hi-fi systems to get the best out of your fruit-based device, and the 890-pound single-view screen which replaces physical dials behind the steering wheel updates the look and functionality of the cockpit, though it's not as comprehensive in its abilities as the virtual cockpit Audi has developed, and will undoubtedly be updated for the next A6 Avant. Owning, running costs and reliability, Jaguar XF Sportbrake interior. Jaguar's yet to release a full price list, but the XF Sportbrake's £34,910 opening sticker undercuts rivals from BMW and Mercedes who, wouldn't you know it, don't offer a model that's as detuned as the 160 bhp Jaguar. Really, you're not going to get a properly equipped XF Sportbrake without spending north of $40,000, and it's worth bearing in mind that traditionally Jaguar can't match the cheap finance and cast iron residuals of the Germans, though that discrepancy is continually shrinking. Jaguar dealers also tend to fare higher in customer satisfaction surveys than their German counterparts, so once you've got the car, servicing work ought not to be a hardship to organize. The lowest CO2 emissions are down at 118 grams per kilometer, so business users will find much to like here. The all-wheel drive version does inflate that figure a tad, and as we've said, it does no favors for economy, though we'll see if lesser-powered models rectify that when we're able to try more than just one model. It's highly unlikely the uprated 238 bhp diesel will be the pick of the four cylinders as an all-rounder. As standard, you get air suspension at the rear for self-leveling when carrying heavy load, adaptive cruise control, heated door mirrors, front and rear parking sensors and full-length curtain airbags. Towing capacity is 2,000 kilograms. Verdict: final thoughts and pick of the range, as good to drive as the saloon, and better looking, but not without tech foibles. The XF Sportbrake is a worthwhile addition to the Jaguar range. It's handsome, has the boot space fundamental nailed, and drives just as well as the saloon. Of course, it shares the saloon's slightly low-rent cabin areas and cockpit technology, but it's also roomier in the back than its four-door sister. So overall, until we try more engine variants, it's not likely to assume the place of TG's favorite estate, still held by the relaxed and placid Volvo V90, but it is at the top table.